So I usually don't make videos like this normally, and I usually don't post them on YouTube. But you know what? Why not? So there was this guy on YouTube that I was kind of sort of arguing with, and he was sort of mad at the death battle fight with Saitama versus Popeye. And he was mad and saying that it's like wrong now or anything like that, which, by the way, if you at all know both characters, that is very much not the case. I like said in the comments or whatever, and we kind of went back and forth with it, and just I was basically talking about like how the outcome would not change if they would just do it again, and it would be the exact same. There's literal no way that Saitama can actually beat Popeye because he has no way of permanently putting him down because he has only been shown just overwhelming physical strength and literally has no hacks unless you want to bring in the time travel causality punch, which wouldn't even kill Popeye anyway. It wouldn't permanently put him down. Even if you can possibly scale Saitama higher than him, which you can't. At best, you can put him to Galaxy and maybe with a extreme highball, multi-Galaxy, but that's still lower than like Popeye since he was able to survive the universe getting turned off. So he literally brings himself back from literally being erased from existence. So yeah, no, Popeye would still win, and he has been shown through his Toon Force and all that he can transmute people into other things and stuff like that. So he has a way of just insta killing Saitama just flat out by transmuting him into something else like eggs, like in the death battle video. But this eventually just delved deeper, and then we started talking about the fight with Cosmic Fear Garo and Saitama. And I was specifically saying through that entire fight that, like, at least towards the beginning, Saitama was just straight up dead even in terms of strength with Garo. But because of his intense emotions and how much he was growing during the fight, he eventually just surpassed Garo altogether, despite Garo not only copying Saitama's strength technique, but he was also straight up growing on top of that. Yet Saitama, with intense motions, was growing even stronger and faster than Garo can keep up with. So he first starts with this giant word vomit from Genos, and just to go over, like, just to, you know, put all this together, essentially, Saitama, or Genos, starts talking about like multiversal theory and all that, and talks about how Saitama time traveled and separated from that point, and then showed up into the future, does the whole causality punch, and then combines back together into that timeline's version of Saitama. Basically, he just talks about like the whole time travel thing at the beginning, and then talks about, and in word by word, even if you were holding back a great deal, implying that he personally does not think that he was holding back. He was saying even if, as in like, even if he's like, it was a possibility, even if you were, holding back a great deal, that you could not have been outplayed by Garo, implying that he was not saying that he was holding back. He was saying that even if he was holding back, he wouldn't have been outplayed by Garo. As in, like, he wouldn't have been just overwhelmed by him. Garo probably still wouldn't have won. Not saying that he was holding back. He was not. So, even Genos himself does think that Saitama was going at full strength. You then brought up this conversation that he had with Garo, which I don't know why, because this is just him saying that like he made a deal with that kid, you know, Garo's like little friend, that he just wouldn't kill him. That this doesn't. I don't know why you brought this. This is just saying that he won't kill him at all, and that's it. It doesn't talk about his strength or anything like that. It's just saying he's not going to kill him. So, to go on to the next point, we go on to this, and Saitama literally talks to himself in this panel, which you also showed, that, oh well, at least I can let loose at full power against a guy who can stay up. So, Saitama talking to himself, he's not talking to Garo, he says to himself that he is going, like, he can finally go at full power against a guy who can actually take a fucking hit from him at full power. Then now he starts talking to, you know, Garo, and starts saying, like, that he will fight with one hand, given that, like, he can't just drop that, because he still needs it for, you know, Genos. So he can't let that go, so he can only fight with one hand. And just because he's fighting with one hand does not mean he's not hitting with 100% of his power. That's not how that works. Like, if you, like, let's make a hypothetical. If I would punch someone, but only with my right hand, does that mean I'm not going at full power? I'm just going and putting all of my strength into into my fist and hitting someone with it, but I'm only using that one fist. Does that mean I'm not going at full power? No, it does. I'm just only using this one fist, which is exactly what Saitama is doing. He's basically saying that, hey, I don't need to use both my hands. I will still be able to beat you with one hand. It never said, like, he never says, like, anything about him being stronger than him or anything like that. He just says that he'll only need this one, you know, he's just gonna fight with his one hand, essentially. So, yeah. And to continue, yeah, throughout this entire fight, just Saitama is undergoing intense emotions, as it says right here. Due to an upsurge of emotion like none he has ever experienced before, he has essentially been experiencing a intense just amount of growth within this fight. Garo says even himself, I don't get it. I'm countering him with just as much power, but the next attack hits even harder because, as I shown with the previous panel, because of his intense emotions, he's growing so much stronger and so much faster than Garo that he's just exponentially increasing in power, and Garo can barely keep up. Then you brought, like, this statement where it's just talking about, like, the whole, like, how the story is supposed to be, like, how it works is that it's basically saying that Saitama is the main character when he's, like, already gotten all that power at the end of the story, but at the beginning of the story. Alright? And that's what I've been trying to literally tell you throughout this entire thing, is that Saitama, at the beginning, straight up says to himself, hey, I'm finally able to fight someone who can actually take a hit, and I can go full power, and I'm only going to use this one fist, and continues to do that without killing him. And you can believe it or not, like, it's right there, you just apparently can't see it. Anyway, you can be mad all you want or whatever. This is, it's shown in the story exactly what happened. So, sorry, but all the points are actually against you. You just couldn't really see it.